It's your girl, Ginger, and you are officially in the Gingerhood. If you have not yet clicked the subscribe button, I need you to do so you can move in and kick it right here on Ginger's Way. And if you have not yet, ring the bell for the notifications. Please ring that bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload a video and all that good stuff. And click the like button. Like. Tell a friend, share a friend. We can all be friends. They can all move into Gingerhood. You feel me? Okay, so today, guys, I am going to I'm gonna have a little moment. This is my story time. Excuse my hat. It's an official Super Bowl hat though. Ew, see my thing underneath? Ew. I'm having a bad hair day. My hair is back in a ponytail, but having a bad hair day today. It's just been one of those days. But hey. So this is my story time. And a lot of people throughout my lifetime have asked me this question. They want to know why I lied about having children, or why do I continue to lie about having children, okay? It's a lot of reasons. And let me just start off by saying I am a proud, happy mother, okay? Every child that I have, I am proud to be their mother. There hasn't been nothing more greater in my life besides finding out who I was, which is a whole nother story time. But there hasn't been nothing greater than being a mom. And, you know, I remember even finding out when I was pregnant with my first daughter. I was married to their dad, by the way. And, you know, we went to Disney World in Miami and a few other places. And when we had gotten back, like on the road, I kept having like this weird feeling. Like, I don't know, like I wasn't sure if it was like, I didn't know if I ate something, if I caught some type of virus. Because, you know, when you travel up and down the highway, if you're on an airplane, like you're prone to get all types of viruses and stuff, right? So I wasn't sure if that's what was wrong with me. I know I was just extremely nauseated. And I had to go to work. So I was just like, once I got back. We went to Disney World. We booked to stay for like 1 week and ended up staying for 2 weeks. I used like all my vacation time, all my sick time, all of that. And then when we got back, I was just sick like every day, all day. I was just very nauseated and I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me. And I remember my mother saying, "You been sexing?" I used to hate when she say that. Sexing. Ew, like who says that? Like it's smash, mom. Like you smash, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, and at the time, of course, like, yeah, I wasn't married to their dad then, but I'm like, hell yeah, like my dude and I pretty much live together. Like, what you mean? Like, what do you think? But anyway, so when she told me that, something was like, you might be pregnant. And it never dawned on me that I could have been pregnant. So I went and I got a pregnancy test on my lunch break. I paid like $27. I bought like the expensive one because we was balling. Because, you know, at the time my husband was a big time drug dealer. That's a whole nother story time. That's going to be my next story time. How I became the wife of a Jamaican Don. Because he is a Jamaican Don. Well, he was. Anyway, so yeah, I bought the real expensive pregnancy test, and when I got back from my lunch break, went to the bathroom, took it. As soon as it touched the stick, it was like, hell yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, like I started shaking all over. I got nervous. Like I was like, oh my God, like I'm really, really pregnant. Like, oh my gosh. So I remember, you know, telling her dad when he came to pick me up from work, because he would pick me up from work all the time. And I remember telling him, and he was just so excited. And see, he already has children, and he had children prior to. So, you know, but he was still like so excited. And I was just like, oh my God, like I just couldn't believe it. And the very next day, I went to the Gap and I bought like all these Baby Gap sweatshirts and Baby Gap. I bought like 2 of everything, one for a boy, one for a girl. Like we were balling, literally. So like I spent like $400 or $500 on my lunch break, and I came back. Because I came back in my office. At the time, I was a human resources director's assistant. Yep. I was getting that shmoney too. Anyway, so I came back in my office and I had all these bags of like clothes, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, girl, what you doing?" I didn't tell anybody right away that I was pregnant, but I had like, oh my God, I bought like all these sneakers. I bought like Jordans and Timberlands, bought pink Tims. Like I went shopping on my lunch break. And I think from that day forward, all the way up until she came, I went shopping every single day on my lunch break. Every day, because I worked in downtown Philly and all the banging stores and stuff was there. So I went shopping every single day on my lunch break. I kid you not, all the way up until the day she was born. So when my first daughter was born, she had like everything. And the only thing that changed is when I found out it was a girl, I stopped buying boy stuff. But I was buying boy and girl stuff all the way up. What did I do with the boy stuff? Her ass wore it. Okay. I just like I had like, I bought like the one piece polo sets, like they were plaid and stuff, and I just bought like some cute girly shoes to wear with it and the big cute girly bows, and that's how I let her wear them. But she wore everything. And she had so much stuff that I think she only wore clothes, like her outfits, like maybe once, and then she had so much stuff. Y'all know how it is when you have your first kid. Okay. Anyway, then after I gave birth to her, I immediately got pregnant. I did not wait those 6 weeks. So I got pregnant immediately. So my first two children are like Irish twins. And yes, I was pregnant like immediately after I had her. So then I had another girl, and I did the same thing with her though, bought her like a whole bunch of stuff. And at this time, when I got pregnant with my second daughter, I was a stay-at-home mom at that point, because I was only working because I chose to. I really didn't have to, because my husband was a Jamaican Don, so I didn't have to work. But I did because I wanted to. I always had a job, and I wanted to maintain having a job. And plus, if he was the Jamaican Don, I had to be the one with the bank accounts, the credit, you know what I'm saying? So, it was teamwork, make the dream work. So, but at that time, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I had both of them. So when I was pregnant, my oldest was still in the infant carrier. And then I had both of them. Yeah. And then not too long after my second daughter, me and my husband finally got married. He asked me to marry him before, but I was like, no, I don't know, foolishness. And then I went on and married him. And just to say too, that's another story. Anyway, yeah, so we got married in the summertime, and we took like a year and a half break. And then I got pregnant again. Long story short. Yeah, so that's the story about how I found out I was pregnant. So I definitely am proud. I am very proud of my children. I am proud to be a mother. But yes, I have found myself in a lot of times I've lied about having children, okay? And it's not because I'm not proud. And when I say I've lied about having children, I don't mention them. That's what I would say. It's not if somebody asks, I'll say, no, I don't have them. I never mention having children. And the reason why I never mention having children is because when you have children, you're stereotyped, especially as a woman. And even though me and my husband ended up having, we would have had 6 kids together, but we had 4. We had a miscarriage with one, and then I did terminate one of my pregnancies too, because our marriage also wasn't perfect. Like, it was very abusive. It was a lot. Like, it was a lot of police activity, you can imagine. Not because of us, because I never called the police on my husband for our abuse of our fights and stuff like that, but there was always police activity because of the lifestyle. We had a whole bunch of different houses and cars, and a whole nother story. And if you guys want to hear about how I became the wife of a Jamaican Don, leave in the comments below, and I will definitely share that story with you guys. This is definitely a story, and I probably should write a book about it. But anyway, so we ended up having 4 together, and at some point, I separated from my husband. And when we separated for about maybe 2.5 years before we tried to reconcile again, and then we separated again. So I ended up being by myself, and because of how our relationship was and how he was. He was nothing to mess with. Those that knew him knew you just did not mess with him. But he was also a little crazy, right? We had like this intense, crazy love, whole nother story. But anyway, he was kind of crazy. So I kind of had to hide from him. So when I hid it from him, that meant that I didn't have that financial support. And I was okay with that because I wanted to get out of the situation I was in. I didn't want to fight anymore. I didn't want physical altercations. I was tired of getting into situations with other women behind him. Like, I just didn't want to go through that anymore. So that's why we separated. And so I ended up being a single mother. And because of the, abuse and the fighting, that we went through, I had to stay away for the sake of our children. And it just became a point where they would remember a lot of things, and we could be having a good day, and then you'll have that one kid that say, "Mommy, remember that time when Daddy pushed you against the wall?" And you just be sitting there like, I was just having a good time. But yeah, if you remember, I remember, but you can't fault kids. But when I realized they started remembering these things, I decided that, okay, it's time to separate until we figure out how we're going to make this work and we're not halfway killing each other, because we were always halfway killing each other. It was that intense, crazy love, okay? Anyway, and I'm not saying abuse is love, so that's not what I'm saying. But I'm quite sure there's a lot of women that can relate to what I mean when I say just that, okay? So anyway, so I was a single mom because of that. And so now I was a single mom with 4 children. We were used to living a certain lifestyle to now it was all on me, because I did go back to work. Of course, I think after our 3rd child, I went back to work, and then I continued working, until our 4th or whatever. And the ones that we should have had, I was working during those times as well. So I remember having a conversation with my grandmother, who's like one of my best friends, and I remember telling her, you know what, I gotta leave. I can't stay here anymore. And she was like, well, how are you going to make it on your own with 4 kids? You got 4 kids. You need to think about that, Ginger. You got 4 kids. And that actually became the motivation to prove that I could do this on my own. It's not that I wanted to. I felt like I was left with no choice to. It was either that or continue to go through what I was going through, and my girls to continue to see us fight and all this extra nonsense. So I did. I left, and I didn't leave normally. That will be in the next video, how I was married to Jamaican Dime, but I'm not going to go because it's a very dramatic story. But anyway, I left. I had got us an apartment in a really nice part of Philadelphia. It was kind of like a suburban area, and they had a beautiful, nice place for my girls, put them in school, and I was working. At this time, I was working at the airport. Shout out to U.S. Airways, which is now American, the #1 airline to fly next to Delta. And for those who travel international, Lufthansa all day. Okay. Anywho, I was working at the airport, and then I started working for Patti LaBelle. So at some point, as my position got a little intensified working for Patti LaBelle, I quit the airport, and I was just full-time working for Miss Pat, or Patti LaBelle. And that was great. When I first started working with, when I was at the airport didn't know, I never mentioned about my children at the airport. When I started working for Miss LaBelle, I didn't mention my children during my interview or anything like that. Like, my kids were never mentioned. It wasn't until we were on our way somewhere, and at the time we had a Hummer, and I usually, I used to drive all the cars, and so we had a Hummer, and we were going somewhere, and I was like, well, Miss Pat, I'm about to go pick my kids up, and she was like, kids, you got kids? I was like, yeah. She was like, how many? I was like, 4. She was like, 4 kids? I was like, yeah. She was like, I didn't know that. So let me explain the reason why I never mentioned my children throughout my career and throughout a lot of things that I had to do. Because I feel like people stereotype you for having children. And then they also stereotype you if you're a single mom. A lot of people feel like every single mom is the same. They feel like, you got babysitting arrangements. You got your daycare lined up. Well, we would invite you, but we know you got your kids. And do you think this because of your kids? Oh, you went there. You got kids. Oh, how you got Jordans on your feet? You got kids. Oh, that's your car. You got kids. That's your house. You got kids. How you got a white furniture set when you got kids? Ha. And it drives me freaking insane, because stop categorizing every woman, every single mom in the same freaking boat. I am not like everybody else. There are some single mothers out here who do go hard, who do take care of their children, who bust their behind at work and don't make excuses. When I worked for Patti LaBelle, I think I only missed maybe 2 days of work. When I was at the airport, I only missed maybe 1 or 2 days for work. Just because I have children don't mean that I cannot do nothing, or it does not mean that I need some special magical handbook because I got kids. I don't use my kids for an excuse. That's why I don't tell people that I have them. Because when people don't know, they're just like, oh, okay, you got this. Okay, good. Oh, you got, okay, thank you. I need you to do such and such. Okay, thank you. Da 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 da. I am still a person. I am still a woman. I'm still me. I just pushed out a couple kids. I am still a person. So because everybody's stereotype, I've decided in moving forward that I just will no longer mention having children. I guess I wanted to prove my work ethic, prove the things I can do first, and then if it comes up, it comes up. But that's why I never mentioned about having children, because of that. If you were to come to my house is spotless. My house is beautiful. I've had all white furniture, all the way up until I relocated back in February, March. Just because I have children does not mean I'm not able or capable of doing stuff. Like people say, oh, you be traveling? You be going out the country? Why can't I? You know what I'm saying? If I work and if I save my money and if I do if I do what I'm supposed to do as an adult to do the things I want to do, why, because I have children, mean that I can't? It's a stereotype and it burns me up. I'm sick of it. It's even what I do now, I can't, they know I have children because they knew, somebody that works there knew me. So they already told them all about me. So it's so in case them days you might need, you want to work them overtime so that time could go towards you in case there's any times that, your kids get sick. Everything is always about kids. And I'm just listen, I'm a mom, and yes, my children are a major part of my life, but I also have a life. I might just want to take off because I might just want to go get my nails done. I might just want to get a full body massage. Why does everything always have to be about children or because I got kids? It gets on my nerves. So that is the reason why I've denied, or I would not answer questions pertaining to if I have children. The same with being in the music entertainment industry. The way I broke my back and my neck for Miss LaBelle, she appreciates that even to this day. And she would say, for a woman that have kids, girl, you sure be getting it done. You sure be doing it. I didn't make excuses. And I'm not going to sit here and act like times didn't get hard, because hell yeah, stuff was hard. Times got very hard. But I did not make excuses, and I didn't carry my problems to work. I don't sit on Facebook sending out subliminals. I've never done that. I don't do that, because what is that going to solve? And that's not how I would want my children to be. Now, I wouldn't want my children to have children and then be making excuses or no, I'm not a pity party. No, absolutely not. I go hard. I try hard. I work hard. I do a lot of things, to make life decent and better for my children. So just because I have them don't mean that I'm incapable, or don't be surprised, don't be surprised, you know what I'm saying, if I decide to do this, or don't be surprised if I do that, or don't be surprised if I have this. Why? Why can't I have it too? Because I'm a single mom. Every single mother is not the same. I bust my ass for my children. I bust my ass for me. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe lots of times, a lot of women, and I'm not saying all of them, but make excuses and make everything because of their kids, or, or my kids, oh, what was me? No. I even have people ask me, do I have a hard time dating because I have children? No. Why would I? My children don't have nothing to do with my dates. Like, no. My children, no. If I get into a situation and it becomes serious, then we could discuss my children. But I'm not starting off. I may not even like you. So why do you need to know all about what I have at home and my kids? And that's none of your business. I might not even like you. Like, this first date may very well just be a date. It may just be the only date. I may not like you. But I don't go into a man's life needy. Like, there's no guy that I've ever dated that can ever say, I come into your life needy. Because I haven't. My babies need some shoes. My baby need, like, no. I've never done that. I've always held it down and tried my best to take care of my children 100% on my own. Now, I have a great support system. My mother and father are everything. And I am spoiled. I am. I'm still spoiled. I am a daddy's girl and I'm spoiled. My mama spoiled me. My dad spoiled me. I'm spoiled. I am. And they're a great support system. We're not in the same state. And a lot of my adult life with my children, we were not in the same state. But they're there for me if I need them. The same with my sisters. They're there for me if I need them. You know, my grandmother too. They're there for me if I need them. Like you know, but I've always worked hard to do whatever I can, you know, for my girls, you know, for my children. And I don't fit the stereotype. I don't want to fit the stereotype. So don't put me in that basket. Don't always think that one single mom is the same as all the others, because they are not. Give single mothers an honest chance. Give them a chance to prove who they are. Give them a chance to prove their work ethic and what they can and cannot do. Don't automatically rule them out. Because when I worked in human resources, the woman that was over me, who was evil, she was a whole witch. A witch. Do you hear me? A witch. She was evil. She would purposely not hire people because of how many kids they had. I seen it firsthand. And that was horrible. You don't even give people a chance because they have children. Don't you think that's more the reason why they need to be here to provide for their children? People don't think like that. People stereotype you and think that you will not be reliable because you have children. When in my mind, that's why you would be more reliable, because you have to take care of them. But people don't see it like that. I have been a victim of it, and I am telling you, people will rule you out because you have children. It's not right, it's not fair, but it is freaking facts. So because of that, that is the reason why I have denied having children and have lied about having children in my past. That's the reason why if you ask me today about my children, depending on who you are and why you're asking, I may or may not answer you. A lot of my adult life have been in music entertainment. Outside of what I do, I drive trucks as well, but I'm a radio personality. I host events. I'm a motivational speaker. I don't start off introducing myself by saying, hi, I'm Ginger, I have kids. No. I introduce myself telling you what I can do, my resume, my background. I'm a beast at what I do when it comes to this entertainment thing. That's what's important, at least to you. Because what's important to me are my children, but what's important to you is what I can do for you. So that's how I start off. That's my introduction. And if somewhere down the line it slip up that I got a kid or two or whatever many I have, so be it. But I don't start off talking about my children. And if people ask me, I avoid the question. I find other things to talk about. I switch the topic. I never answer yes or no. Excuse me. Or if I say yes, I don't never say how many I have, where they're at. Like, because I don't want to be in that stereotype. Because I'm not the stereotype. That's the reason why I've denied having children in my past. And sometimes even today. So I'm quite sure I'm not the only woman out there who's gone through that. You might be going through it right now. Like, just the whole stereotype is like, if you won't hire me because I have children, how can I do better for my children? There's a lot of women that depend on the welfare system and don't want to. Some of them really want an honest chance at getting a dope job, something that's going to pay them, not something like, you know, some of these welfare programs, they send you, I've been to one before, they do the welfare to work and people walk in who know how to cut meat. Who know how to cut meat? Why, there's a job, it's not minimum wage. But I mean, like, come on. And I know people got to crawl before they walk. But stop counting women with children out because we're single mothers. Stop counting us out, because guess what? Single mothers are winning. You better pay attention. Not that I want to be single forever. I do hope to get remarried again soon. I really do. And I'm not saying being a single mom is the life. Nah, I'm not saying that either. But you play the cards that you're dealt with. And I'm going to say one more thing. Quit judging the decisions that single mothers have to make. I'm not going against single fathers, but I'm not a man. I've never been a dad before. I can only talk about what I know. Stop judging single mothers based on the decisions that they've made without knowing the options that they had to choose from. I've been a victim of it from my own family, from friends, and from people who don't even know, who think they know. Do not judge a single mother's decisions without knowing the options she had to choose from. Because I say it all the time, and I'm going to say it again. My children will never go hungry. I'm not saying sell your soul, but for other single mothers, I'm quite sure you understand what I'm saying. When your back is against that wall, my kids' necessities will always be met. Always. So, don't judge single mothers without knowing the options that they had to choose from. You never know why they had to make the decisions that they had to make. And you know what else? As single moms, it's like we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. If we don't work, it's like, oh, she got them kids. Not that that's me, because I've always worked. But some women don't, for whatever reason. Oh, she got them kids. She need to get up and work. She need to get a job. Then she get up and get a job. Them kids always in daycare. She don't never got time for them kids. She always at that job. She just... You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Make the best out of everything you can with your life. Try to encourage your children to make the best out of whatever they can with their life. Create the opportunities for them. If they're not there, go out and get those opportunities for your children and get those opportunities to you. Just because you're a single mom with kids don't mean you cannot live your life. This is why a lot of single moms are bitter as single mothers, because they feel like they can't live their life. And that's not true. You have to fight to have your own life. Trust me, it's a fight. But fight to have your own life. You make sure your kids are good. You make sure they have what they need, and do something for you. It's okay. And I had to learn that. Not that I do it all the time. I'm still guilty of course, but I fight to still have my life. I still take trips. I still love Miami Beach. I still like to travel. I still I still throw in Pac and Biggie and Kim and, all the old school rap. I still have my time. I dance, I party. I do all of that. I do all of that. It's not my priority, but I do it. I live my life. I live my life. So just because you have children don't mean you cannot live your life. If there's something you want to do that you cannot afford to do, you might have to get another job to make it happen. Come up with a hustle. What's some things that you're good at? I sell sweet potato pies. I sell platters. I'm a notary. I'm a truck driver. I'm a radio personality. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. Literally, real talk. I literally do all these things. But I want to have a life. And I want my children to have a life. My kids don't have Jordans and all that on their feet. No. They don't, but they know how to fly a plane. Oh, I'm just saying. I pick and choose what I want my children to have. Like I tell them all the time, because they used to get teased at in school because they don't have this and that on their feet. And I'm like, yeah, well, how many of your friends flew a plane over the summer? How many of your friends have the NRA Marksmanship Award? Okay, how many of your friends, have been to celebrities' houses and how many? So, no, you may not have the expensive sneakers, but you have life experiences. They've lived in LA. When I moved to LA, I never left my kids nowhere. My kids came with me to LA. You know, when I moved to Atlanta years back, they were with me in Atlanta. Everywhere I go, my kids go with me. I'm not the one to leave my babies nowhere. I'm good. Like, I had them, they're coming with me, and we thug it out. We've gone through a lot together. So, you know, don't be a victim to the stereotype. Rise above it because you can. I do it. It's hard, but you can do it. Don't let your children be the excuse, because they don't have to be the excuse. They don't have to be excuses for anything. Not at all. Live your life. So I'm quite sure you can relate to my story. It's frustrating and I know it, but keep fighting and rise above it. If you guys want to hear my story about how I became the wife of a Jamaican Don, leave your comments below. Leave comments anyway about, if you know, your thoughts about this story. If it happened to you, let me know, because I would love to just have a day where I just like go back and forth with you guys, and you know, you share your stuff and we share it. We go back and forth. Like, leave your comments below. If you have not yet hit that subscribe button, please subscribe. Move into the JingerHood, you know, because it's Ginger's Way or whatever. And don't forget to ring my bell for notifications, and hit the like button, please, and share this with your friends and family. You know, like, I want everybody to be a part of the JingerHood. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my story. That's my reason why, and I'm pretty sure you can relate. So until next time, as always, it is a beautiful day in the JingerHood. Bye.